Who am I? I'm Nini. Start with that. I grew up in Malaysia for 19 years and I came to Romania thinking I'd stay here for 3-4 years, and then I stayed and I continued to do illustration. Da, vorbesc română. A fost un an în care am făcut doar limbă română, deci am venit și era un an de facultate de litere și era 5 ore pe zi, 5 zile pe săptămână în care era doar limbă română și a fost prima mea limbă latină, atunci și gramatică era cu totul altceva, deci e super, super nou. And I remember thinking every day like, this is so hard, but thinking, okay, this must be the hardest as it gets. It can't get any harder than it. Of course it gets harder. All the time. But because I had this thought recently. I'm like, Nini, why do you learn so many languages? Like, you don't even speak to anyone. And I realized maybe it's like to have an excuse to say, yeah, I'm not really good in this language, which is why I'm not expressing myself well. I think home is kind of fun these days. Yeah, I think this year is the year of getting back into dance and getting better at Japanese. Like, so that's the new language that I'm picking up. Probably when I have good feedback from a client. Like as in when you get one of those emails that you can clearly hear joy. It's been so many years since I do this, but every time you get a nice reaction from a client, it's always nice. Most days are good, actually, if I don't find myself in like extremely anxious, uncomfortable situations, like having to meet a group of new people. I don't know, I think people have different definitions of home. So, like, is it the kind of home where you say like, okay, now I can kick back and relax? Yeah, it's actually a question that troubled me lately. Not the home, but my identity as like a Malaysian in Romania. I think in the beginning, it's the Malaysianness is concrete. It's substantial enough that I don't worry about what makes me me or what makes me different, because I have an immediate answer like, I'm different because I'm Malaysian. But by now, a third of my life is not in Malaysia, and it's somehow the most important third of my life. Actually, the first 5 years of apparently is important, like traumas and psychological things. That's really important. But anyway, the kind of the adult life, the growing up part is here. So what am I? I don't really know. Like when you guys asked me who am I was like, immediate panic, because I can't really answer. Before it was like a clear-cut answer, and now it's not. So does home define you, or do you want to be defined by your home? I don't know. It's so difficult because I think I'm here because it's like a long rebellion somehow, actually, that I found myself accidentally committing to a little bit longer than I planned. I got close to a Danish family here, actually, because in my first year at language school, I got close to a classmate who was doing photo video at Tunarte afterwards, together with me at Tunarte the year after. But she invited me home for dinner, and then at some point I moved in with them for a little bit. And I think that was my first experience of living with another family. Like, I can't say Romanian because they were Danish. But I guess what was interesting was that I was living with parental figures and having to be kind of taught that I can actually have conflicting opinions and I can actually say it, and my thoughts are actually important to because somehow in Malaysia there's a barrier between the older and the younger, so somehow as a younger person, you're usually being talked to, not with. So in the beginning, the dad was like, Nini, I know how it is, like, you're used to, but like here it's, you just say whatever you want, and like we really want to know what's in your mind. Or it's like, you don't get the chance to really have meaningful exchange if you're not allowing yourself to go through uncomfortable waters, because then you just want to have the same opinion, and if you find yourself not having the same opinion, then you would switch topics, and then you don't get to actually know the person. So I always feel like that's the big loss that we have. Like, you don't get to pass your wisdom to the younger generation in a deep way. You just say like, oh, I know better, and then you expect the younger, okay, but this is such a self-flattering question. You're like, I'm good at this, and but I think I'm good at being empathetic. Like, I really think a lot about how that person feels in a situation, even if it's not something that I should do. Like, I don't need to take care of people. I don't need to be sure that everybody's okay, but somehow I get really stressed out when I feel like, somebody's not really okay, and so maybe that's why I also feel stressed out in like group situations, because then I'm really like spending a lot of energy on like sussing out how everybody feels inside, and like I don't need to do this. Like,
it's also both your superpower and your like
kryptonite, exactly. Yeah. Insecurity, my self-insecurity. Yeah. If it's not about myself, then maybe I would make 5 billion people disappear. Because the planet cannot take so many of us. Like, yeah, Blur totally said it really nicely. I don't know if you heard that song, like, there's too many of us. There's far too many of us. It's, yeah, words of wisdom. Most days I feel quite happy. Like, maybe, happy may not be the right... No, I'm also happy, but I think mostly gratefulness that I have the space to do what I want to do. Like, mental space and financial space and like literal space also.